Welcome back, players. I'm Jacko36Cancel, and this is Coco the Weiss Cat. And if you haven't noticed, there's a lot happening with Weiss Schwarz right now. New exciting announcements, the first in-person regionals, and some crazy news from Japan. So in this spring and summer update, we'll break it down and talk about everything that's been happening since the snow melted and things went from too cold to do anything to way too hot and muggy to do anything. If you haven't noticed, I like making excuses not to go outside. Anyway, let's start with a quick rundown of sets that have been released since the last update. At the start of this list, we had the huge hitter Mushoku Tensei. This set introduced a ton of great cards to make powerful decks, with super powerful combos and events, but the 8 standby deck was really the one that took the field by storm. Anyone who's played in any locals since March knows how big and scary this deck can get. Heck, it's turned into one of my favorite decks of all time. For those of you not living under a rock and playing anime card games, 8 standby Mushoku features a 1/1 7500 that also happens to be an on-attack standby salvage combo, an event that searches twice from memory, a 2/2 that global buffs for 1k, a rest counter, a 3/2 that reflects canceled damage, and a finisher that can't be backed up against at all. Well, maybe the 2/2 global buff and the rest counter may not be around forever, because in the recent Bushiroad presentation in Japan, it was announced that these two cards would now be pick 1 of 2 in JP. And with the deck's absolute domination in the English meta, a lot of players think that this will become the case in English now that Bushiroad popped their English ban list cherry. Dao and Kaguya, as we know, got hit not too long ago, and their tournament representation dropped pretty hard in response. Admittedly though, this pick 2 that Japan introduced for Mushoku feels a lot more like a slap on the wrist. Anyway, after a delay thanks to, well, imagine me vaguely gesturing at everything under the sun right now, Bushiroad finally delivered Hololive to English. And man, Hololive is a set like none other. I've talked extensively about this set in other videos, but to sum it up, Hololive is the biggest, most diverse, unique, and well-designed set in a long time. It has decks for everyone, no matter what VTuber is your favorite, and in recent tournaments, you see multiple unique deck choices from Hololive in the top spots. When was the last time you recall that a single set could represent so hard, with 2, 3, or even 4 different meta decks? For those, Hosho Marine, the 3/2 pay 1 pitch 1 burn 2 finisher, is the popular top end, followed closely by the anti-compression Russian Nightmare. But if none of this is your style, you could also play the deck that puts out a 3/2 anti-soul wall at level 1. And with Hololive getting a reprint soon after release, all these cards are available for bottom dollar at base rarity, so you can make your favorite Hololive decks for less than $100 without even cutting any corners. All around, awesome news for the game, and I like what it's done so far, even if I do hate playing against Russia. So of course, after Hololive, there was another delay, but quite recently, we did get Fate Grand Order Camelot. It was honestly pretty disappointing that this was another set that had hot stamps instead of signatures, but the roundtable rares and the card bordering on the shinies is crazy good looking. By far some of the prettiest cards I've seen in a while, which is all you can really say about Camelot, because unfortunately the set is trait locked not to play nicely with Babylonia, the other Fate Grand Order expansion, though you can play a lot of the new MASH stuff with the old stuff, and the new MASH deck with a level 3 combo that can't be reversed and gives -3 soul is pretty scary, at least on paper. Have fun dealing with that. Other than that, you can build the Green Pharaohs deck featuring Sanzang, or the Red-Yellow Roundtable deck, which, while they have some cool mechanics, aren't terribly notable otherwise. Can't argue with the Lion King though, best Saberface after Bride Nero IMHO. But this brings us current with the new releases, which means we can get into the really exciting news, the sets coming down the road. Starting at what we know, Tokyo Revengers is unfortunately delayed even though it was slated to come out in May. It's now coming at the end of July, and this looks like a powerful set. You have an 8-choice deck with an amazing level 1 combo that also carries into a level 2 combo, and a level 3 that's like Inherited Form Rimuru, but like better, which is pretty scary. The 8 standby deck that also turns half the cards in your deck into standby triggers, and also has an explosive finishing standby combo, also looks super scary. And with Revenger rares and real bonafide signatures, the set is sure to please anyone who's into Revengers. Now, even though Tokyo Revengers was supposed to come out first, another set that finally came out by popular demand is coming mid-July, and that's Danmachi. People have been asking me since the beginning of my Weiss Schwarz career if Danmachi was coming to or in Weiss Schwarz, and now I finally get to say yes. And man, this set is memes. Besides the straight up Coomer cards.tm, the playstyle is actually pretty reminiscent of Goblin Slayer, with a haversack of techie events and event combos. You have the Hestia Knife, which is pretty much just Torch, a stock swap event, a salvage event, a power or salvage event, a burn 3 event, yeah, there's a lot of events, and also characters that have solid event synergy to back this up. Not to mention some great anti-standby tech that stops characters from moving around the stage, very useful for keeping those pesky standby targets in the back row. So yeah, this set is sure to please Danmachi fans, Hestia fans, and also the people that hate Mushoku Tensei. Now, I'd ordinarily move on to what's coming in August, which is a lot right now, but as we speak, Bushiroad is on tour. And on that tour, all through the summer, you can visit their booths at various anime conventions to not only get these special promos, but also to purchase Hololive Premium boosters. Not to worry, if you can't make it to any of these events, pre-orders are available and will be officially released in September. More shiny Hololive cards? What more is there to say? Anyway, in September, we have some pretty exciting announcements. First off, Attack on Titan the final season is coming out, as well as a reprint of Titan Sets 1 and 2. Now, we don't have too many spoilers thus far for this, but we do have some pretty solid promo cards that integrate well with the old Titan stuff. However, from what we can tell, the new Titan stuff in the final season set is traded to Eldian and Marleyan, which of course don't play nice with the old core stuff. I just hope we get some new Titans in blue, like, say, maybe a Founding Titan that combos and puts a bunch of level 3 Colossal Titans on the field and rumbles your opponent out of the game. That would be pretty cool. Or maybe just a Warhammer Titan card. Anyway, there's another set coming out in August that does play well with its predecessor, and that's Quintessential Quintuplets 2, also coming with a reprint of Set 1. Now, while Quints 1 had some good cards but didn't really have what it took to storm the meta per se, Quints 2 introduces a lot of powerhouses. This includes a Yotsuba level 3 that burns like the Dark Sakura combo from Fate that you get to put on the stage from your memory for free, a Nino standby finishing combo that heals, becomes a standby trigger, and on combo is an end of attack pay 1 pitch 1 burn 3, and even a Futaro Exodia combo. Okay, the last one is kind of a meme, but it's still funny. We also get a ton of great supporting zeros and ones, and every girl gets their own Climax Swap 0. Quints 2 was bad enough in JP to get hit with the banhammer, so we'll see how it fares in English, but without a doubt, it will make a splash. What, you thought we were done? Not a chance. Right after Titan in September, in October, another sequel set is coming to English, and it's Rascal Doesn't Dream of a Dreaming Girl. Now, unfortunately, this sequel set is coming long after Rascal was popular or relevant in Weiss, and being that the second set is a bit old at this point, none of the cards introduced really push Rascal back into the spotlight in a big way. It does get a 2-1 healing event and some good techie zeros, but again, nothing too notable. We also got some news that this set will have stamps instead of signatures, so that's kind of a thumbs down. Well, I still really like Rascal, and I'll be at least updating my decks. And speaking of old news, Saikano is coming to English Weiss. You know, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend? Now, this set is butt old in Japan, and doesn't really have a leg to stand on without its sequel set, so a lot of people are confused as to why Bushi's bringing it over, but the girls are cute, and it does memory compress, so we'll see what it does, and if Bushiroad decides to bring over Set 2. And then, a bit more far-flung into the future, we do have a teaser for the 7 Deadly Sins Set 2. However, we don't have a release date or any spoilers thus far, so enjoy this poster. And this brings us to what's possibly the biggest announcement for English Weiss Schwarz. We wondered about it for a long time, we had our doubts, and there were many naysayers, but now we have confirmation that Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is coming to English Weiss Schwarz. This is a property that's incredibly popular, but also ridiculously hard to license, so mad props to Bushi for securing this one. Dragon Maid is a really cool set, and features some super cute art. It also has a level 3 Toru that burns for whatever the hell you want, and of course this trial deck Toru that I need for, reasons. But yeah, huge win here, and definitely looking forward to cracking some Dragon Maid boxes. Well, this brings us to the end of the release schedule thus far, but Anime Expo is happening as we speak, and rumor has it that Bushiroad has more big news for us, so stay tuned. But just as a small teaser, Bushiroad is also handing out these promos that weren't in their original picture, and I'll let you decide what to take away from this. For now, I want to move on to some other big news, which is that this spring we had the first in-person regionals since COVID. Of course, this was Team League, which in my opinion is by far the most fun format for these tournaments. In fact, I went with my team to the Newark Regionals. We might not have made the cut, but we hung in there for several rounds up until the end. I made a recap video of that on our tournament experience, so check out that if you want to hear more about it. But in this video, I'd like to briefly highlight what we saw in terms of top 8s and overall representation. So with Hololive and Mushoku being the new heavy hitters on the block, a lot of players thought that teams would be mostly Hololive, Mushoku, and X. And yeah, that was pretty correct. Hell, that's what we played. Granted, many of these regionals were held right before Hololive was released, but in the ones after, Hololive and Mushoku really dominated the field. The other players we saw were Bang Dream with the new Morphonica stuff, old school Pan Store Slime making a big comeback, and still a healthy representation of Kaguya and Dao. In fact, Slime and Bang Dream were technically more common in the team setups across all regionals, and in many of the top 8s, you also saw a healthy mix of Fate, Sunshine, Ruby, Quince 1, and even Persona 5. Overall, the team's format definitely forces more field diversity by its nature, so it's somewhat tough to tell if the tournament scene will stay as varied. It's also worth noting that, likely due to COVID restrictions, many of the tournaments in Europe were very small, sometimes having under 10 teams. But even though these are all gone and past, don't you worry, because you'll have plenty more chance to play in person with Bushiroad's announcement of a full in-person fall regional circuit with an in-person Worlds tournament for 2022. And with all these new sets hitting the scene, this is going to be one interesting fall. Now, speaking of tournaments, we all remember the Bushiroad Online Rumbles that took the place of in-person regionals last summer. Well, it looks like Bushiroad is going to make these a thing that happen alongside the regular tournament circuits. There's going to be another Rumble in 2022 sometime in July and August, and Bushi says to stay tuned for more details. Also, Bushiroad has been running title tournament cups for English for the first time. There was a Mushoku set release cup held online recently, where Bushiroad featured the winning deck that was, yeah, you guessed it, 8 standby. His deck has more shinies than mine for now, but that'll soon change. Hololive also got a title cup to celebrate its release, where players could compete to win foil versions of the Borderless Climax box topper promos. It was really fun brewing decks that will be good against just other Hololive decks. My buddy topped one recently with his anti-Hololive Lamy Marine deck, and I went 3-1 with my revamped Rushia mix. These have been really fun, and I hope Bushiroad does more. Alright, so this covers us for most of the tournament news and the sets coming out. But before I let you go, I actually want to cover some news from Japan. Now, you guys know I typically don't talk about JP Weiss, but the recent Bushiroad strategy presentation was pretty strange. First off, we did see a showcase of the Toy Story, Cars, and Monsters Inc. Weiss Schwarz set expansion. This is cursed as fuck, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. Though, hey, if we get a Shrek Weiss Schwarz set, I mean, seriously, like, that'd be priceless, dude. Can you imagine a Shrek SP? Anyway, in a much better turn of events, Overlord 2 was finally announced, and there's pretty much no chance that we won't get this in English sometime soon, so I'm pretty hyped for this. Also, going back to some Disney products, they're going to re-release the Star Wars Japanese Weiss set with the same art but different card abilities. The set was pretty bad, but like, why? I don't know, I guess. But by far the oddest announcement was the teaser for the 15th anniversary of Weiss Schwarz. Check this out. So we don't know much about Weiss Schwarz Blow right now, but from what people have dug up and judging by the text on the card that we've seen, it appears that in JP this will kind of be a Speed Weiss standalone game, like Speed Duel or whatever it is in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are also some flags in the air that they're going to kill Rebirth for You, so it's very possible that this is their attempt to break into the non-existent market of people who enjoy spending $500 on cases to play super swingy, unbalanced 5-minute card games. Also, Kaiji's coming out in Rebirth for You. I don't know. I have no idea why. At this point, it's pretty unlikely that we're going to see this come over in English, and it's not really confirmed that Weiss Schwarz Blow is actually a standalone game. We're going to get more info on it in July, and it'll be worth having a look at the very least. Oh, and one last thing. D4DJ is coming out in Weiss and JP, for those of you that care. It's probably coming to English. Apparently people like this. And one last thing, it is actually now confirmed, thanks to Bushiroad's tweet, that Chainsaw Man will join the English Weiss Schwarz stage very soon. This might have been pretty obvious judging by the promos they were handing out, but it now is confirmed, so look for more information on this in the coming weeks. Well, that's all for now. Not that there isn't more going on, but there are other videos and there's a lot more that could evolve in the next few weeks, and the time will come to talk about that stuff, but I think this is enough excitement for one update. I've had a lot of fun going back to in-person shop challenges and regionals, and I really like some of the new sets coming out, so there are cool things on the horizon, and the good times keep coming. After all, we could all use some of that after the last few years. Am I right? And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.